Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is Thursday, at least here. It's May the 14th, 2020, the year that just keeps on giving. It's another Technical Alpha podcast. We've got another great show lined up for you today. Mr. Black.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
Surviving.
Surviving.
That's pretty much it.
Nothing special this week.
Oh, well, okay.
What do you got?
All right. So yesterday,
okay,
I woke up and I was
fuck, I need to shower so bad. Yeah.
I was going, okay, you know what? I'm actually going to look for some retro video games. I was just in the mood, you know?
Okay.
So I go on there and there's a guy that's selling a lot of Super Nintendo games, and it said $600. And there was quite a few. There was a console, quite a few games, and you know, they were priced, you know, a little bit less than what they were worth, except for one specific picture. Now, this one specific picture had two games. They were identical, so it was actually one game, but two copies of it.
Okay.
And the game is, let me see here. I want to get this right here. Going. All right. So the game was Super Nintendo's Exertainment Mountain Bike Rally / Speed Racer, which is like, it's a combination game. So it's got like two games in one.
Yeah, everyone had that one.
Well, not this one in particular.
No, that was sarcasm. I've literally never heard of that in my life.
Oh, okay. So this game, I saw it in the picture, and he wanted $30 per. So I had to do a double take because he also had just the mountain bike rally version that doesn't have the combo. Okay. And he had that complete in box. Now that one complete in box is still worth about $80, and the cart alone it's not worth a whole lot because that one was fairly popular. But this one in particular is the rare variant, and he had two of them, and he had them with manuals.
Okay.
So I immediately messaged him. Now the ad had already been up for like 9 or 10 hours. He must have did it like late the night before. There was already like 80, 90 people. So I know for sure some people, like collectors, picked up on this and saw this. So I messaged him and I said, hey, I'm interested in buying everything you have. I didn't give a fuck about any of the other stuff really, but I was like, I'll buy it all. Because if you say you buy everything, they're more likely to sell it to you instead of just selling it to someone that's only going to buy a couple.
Yeah, because they don't want to have to do like piecemeal.
Multiple, exactly. You know, and it's quarantine. You don't want to meet up with too many people. I'm like, I'll buy it all at once. And I said, I'll even give you more than what you're asking. I say, the only thing I ask is don't sell it. Don't sell it. I'll pay for it, and I'll pay more than asking. So the guy ends up shooting me a message, and he said, hey, you still interested in the games? I said, oh, because I've been looking at refreshing my email because I'm like, man, I want this. And there's a reason why. I'm going to tell you this in a minute. So I refresh. Finally, I see it. I still have the games, he said. I call him up. He gives me his phone number. I call him up. I say, hey, do you have all of the games? He said, well, a guy came here this morning and picked up 3 of them. I knew immediately. I said, hey, were they these games right here? I listed them off. He said, hey, honey, which ones did he buy again? Lo and behold, bought the games. They're gone. Now here's the kicker. This variant is one of the rarest Super Nintendo games on the planet.
Oh, no.
The game with the manual, $2,500 a piece.
Oh, no.
All day, every day.
Oh, no.
Yes. $5,000 worth of games gone.
I'm effing chat for that one, bro.
Bro, here's the worst part.
Oh no, how much do you sell it for?
I said, hey man, do you mind if I ask you how much you sold those for?
Oh no.
He said, yeah. I gave him a deal, $15 a piece. I almost threw up. This is what I said to him.
Say it ain't so.
I said, hey man, I'm not even going to tell you how much those are worth. I'm not going to do that to you. And he said, okay. And he kind of did an awkward chuckle. I know after I said that, he went on the internet and he searched that shit. And man, dude, there was 2 of them. To see one, and they were good labels. They had manuals.
No.
Dude, I would have gotten my hands on one for my collection.
And sold
and then
the
I
other.
would have been able to sell the other one. I even would have probably sold it to another fellow collector for like $1,500. It would have, bro. It would have sold.
Did you ask who bought it so that you could get in contact with this guy?
Nah, because there's like certain cardinal rules that you just don't break as a collector. You for one, you can't. You can. People do it, but like part of me wanted to go, hey man, if you can get your hands on those games, I'll give you $2,000. I'll give you $1,000 a piece. That's what I wanted to say. But I already know the guy that got him is a reseller. He's gonna fucking have both them shits up on eBay, and he's gonna have them sold for anywhere between $2,500 and $3,000. The labels are good. He'll probably definitely get north of $2,500 easily. He went in there, said fuck all the other games. He just bought those and ran home.
Oh man.
So I'm it's on eBay right now. It might be on eBay. Let me
when you're selling games, right? Like that guy was, and you have a lot of them, and then somebody comes to you and says, I just want these 2 specific, and there's 2 of them. You have to, as the seller, stop, even if you don't know it already, stop and go, now, why? Why would somebody want not just one, but both copies, and those are the only games they're interested in? There has to be a reason why. And he apparently didn't think about that and sold those for like 3 cents.
I want to see what the manual alone, bro. The
like
last manual,
$500?
$569, and there was multiple bids for the manual.
Oh.
And the dude had 2 of them. It's disgusting.
That's so unfortunate. Holy shit, that's so unfortunate.
Yep. It's rare to get that game under $2,000 for just the cart. It's rare. The cheapest one that looks like it's gone, the cheapest one is $1,828. And there's some that people are watching, and that was a while ago. There's some that, they're going up for $2,800 for the cart. Not even with the manual. I'm sick. So anyway, he got 2 of them, and I was so close, but what can you do? What can you do? The guy didn't have his phone number there. I couldn't message them. I would have, I would have just. It is what it is. So anyway, I was depressed yesterday for about an hour and a half, like legit depression. Like it couldn't get it off my mind. It was bad.
When you're that close,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it's like, when are you ever going to see those again? And when are you going to get 2 of them?
Well,
so you can keep one and sell one.
Yeah, my first question would have been, who did you sell them to, and can you give me his contact information?
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about cardinal rules, blue jay rules, fucking crow rules, seagull rules. Doesn't matter what kind of fucking rules. I don't give a fuck. We're talking about 2 copies of an extraordinarily rare game, and yeah, they might know what they're doing, but there's a chance that they don't 100% know, and maybe, depending on how, as a collector, how hell-bent you are on getting that game, if they're like you and said, if you're a fellow collector, maybe they cut you a fucking inside deal before blasting that shit out on eBay. I don't give a fuck. I'd be chasing it down. That's so unfortunate.
That was my day.
That's so unfortunate. But hey, it's gonna happen once in a while. As a collector, it's the the game that gets away.
Well, the worst part about it is I hadn't looked for like a couple weeks, or I just hadn't even. And then yesterday I saw it, man. I was like, it's one of those finds.
You have to be
anyway,
on the
it's
shit
gone.
all the fucking time.
You do.
Otherwise,
So-
that's going to happen. It's just the way it goes, right?
So anyway, it is what it is. That was my week.
When I was a kid, my mom sold an Elvis record worth $2 million with 4 other records for $1.
I didn't even know there was an Elvis record worth $2 million.
I'm not surprised. White people really like Elvis, bro. Like a lot. Especially old white people. They are big on Elvis. They like to ignore that he basically ripped off every black artist in the history of rock and roll to put together the persona that he was, because a bunch of white people didn't want to listen to black rock and roll artists at the time. But hey, $2 million Elvis record.
Oh.
My week was another week. Yeah, Rip Little Richard, by the way, an actual pioneer of rock and roll. And most importantly, the writer and singer of the theme song to the Magic School Bus.
Yes.
The show that people of our vintage would have hoped that in school the teacher was getting lazy in science class and said fuck it and wheeled that tube TV cart down the hall and put on an episode of the Magic fucking School Bus, and everyone got excited. However, my week was another week. The website is now fully functional and standing on its own. It happened. It took well over a year to make it happen, but the website is up. It is functioning. It is available worldwide. We had a weird CDN and host conflict there that was stopping some countries from accessing the website. That is fixed. Everything is running like butter. WarCouncilGaming.com is up and in the books. Final Fantasy VII Remake review has been up now for about a week or so, and has received more positive than I would have expected in general, so that's been good. Miyagi is memeing because so I posted one of the websites that I go to source podcast news. I didn't have to this week because the community had us chock full of news, but oftentimes I go to a website, n4g.com, and it's basically I don't want to call it like Reddit for games kind of thing, because that exists obviously, but it's similar to that in that it's curated content from many websites, big and small, from around the web for video game news, reviews, opinion pieces, all that stuff. Excuse me. And so you can post your own stuff on there, and it has a chance of getting accepted. People become labeled contributors, and then they can give the okay or the not so okay if an article actually makes the front page of the site. And I was like, well,
front page?
I said, well, fuck it. I'm a post this and see if it even gets accepted. So it gets accepted. It doesn't mean front page right away, but like it's accepted, so it's visible to the public if they're on the website, basically. And then, kind of like Reddit, they have it's not an upvote downvote system, but they have like an algorithm that looks at how many people are interacting with the article on the site, how many comments are going in, who's commenting, who's like, if there's like a lot of up and down votes on comments, you know, is it spicy, is it not? And then that algorithm just determines the heat of that, the heat.
Spike.
So it starts at like 30 degrees or some shit and goes from there. And then you get further up.
What site is this?
n4g.com. And then
N4G.
and then it goes further up the page, and then if it's really spiced, then you get in the top bar of the page, which is normally where most of the like big news around the web that hangs out. And so I post that review, and I was like, I wasn't thinking that it was even going to get fully accepted because it was the first submission. I thought maybe I'd convince a couple of people to give it the okay. And sure as shit, for like the first hour and a half or so, it was 4 to 10. It needs 10 contributors to give it the okay. So I had 4 or 10. I was like, all right. It installed out there. I was like, okay, it's probably not going to make it this time. I'll put the next review up, and once they see more of my shit, it'll pop off eventually.
Okay.
So I go to stream.
Oh.
7 hours later, after winning one of the greatest games of Monopoly ever played, I leave the stream and I boot up N4G, and I notice that the temperature on the review is 210 degrees, and I was like,
spicy.
I was like, wait, hold on now. And so I go to the site, and sure as shit, it was on the front page of the site, not in the top bar. It was on the front page. You didn't have to scroll. Motherfucker was basically right there.
Oh,
and I was like, all right, now. What I knew was absolutely going to happen, because what you have to know about N4G is that for those who have been around gaming news and whatnot in communities and forums for a long time, is that we talk about here console wars. It's one of the dumbest fucking ideas ever. Great for marketing, but when it comes to like people on social media and shit, you get some full-blown crazy people. Most of them are kids. You know, they're like 14, 15, 16 years old. N4G is kind of like GameSpot forums back in the day had an entire section called, literally, Console Wars. And it was like, if you thought Reddit was bad, if you went to the Console Wars forum on GameSpot in like 2005, holy shit.
I'm checking it out now. Oh, it's spicy.
It's spicy, right?
Oh, it's spicy.
Lots of salty fans in there. And so the first thing
you gave it a 2.
Yeah, which is fine. But you know what's funny? We'll talk about that. So I give it my reviews to it. 2 out of 5 or whatever. But if you look at on the website, you read what 2 out of 5 means. It means that at 2 out of 5, the people who are likely, based on my opinion of the game, people who are fans of this series, if it is a series, are likely going to like it. Is what 2 out of 5 means. It just means that I have a lot of problems with not just the gameplay, but if there's like, you know, if I can get my hands on like the gameplay has issues, the story or the characters, whatever. Basically, what it came down to, I post this review up. I knew that since it hit the front, I was going to get fucking lambasted because for 2 reasons. One, this is like the most loved game of the year by miles because it's Final Fantasy VII Remake. 2. Nobody has ever heard of my ass, ever. I am a nobody. I am literally a nobody. And so, especially in this space,
you're going to get spicy.
Nobody's heard about War Council Gaming before. I posted it myself.
What you need to do is you just need to be spicy on every game review. And you got to, dude, you got to own it. You got to own it, bro.
Well,
you got to know your niche. You got to know it. You gotta own it.
I'm not changing.
Unapologetic.
I'm not changing anything.
Don't feed any of these trolls. Don't
I'm
even
not
write to them.
No.
Write your shit.
Well, here's the thing. So if you read the comments on it, right? If you read the comments on it, and I responded to some of them. I was starting, and you look at the upvotes, and downvotes in the comments. I swayed. If you can't see it now, but from the start to the end, I swayed over 50% of the new people that came onto that article in my favor, to the point where other contributors were standing up for me saying, you guys are a bunch of, like, there's one guy who's like, if I read the guy, War Council Games comments and then your comments, you're the one obviously licking the salt mine walls. Like, people, like, that article got spicy, bro. I didn't even think it was going to make it out of the fucking, like, gate. Gets to the front page, then it hits 310. Gets to the top bar of the fucking website.
Bro, you need to be... Dude, bro, you just need to spice it up. What you need to do is you need to go over the top, bro. You found your niche, right? If you're doing game reviews, bro, and you want as many people at your website and reading the work, you putting a lot of work into this shit. You gotta double down. Now you know what gets people fired up.
Well, you know I knew that 2 out of 5 was gonna fire a lot of people up. Because everyone wants this game to get perfect 10s. But I didn't write it at 2 out of 5 because I was going to get clickbait. That was the thing that was hilarious. The first and number 1 comment, clickbait. And I was like, oh, fuck. Because like everyone calls everything that they don't agree with clickbait. It's the first thing. But when it's a review like this, I was like, oh, this is going to get me fucked. So they label clickbait. I respond to them. I'm like, well, if it's clickbait, I'm wasting my time because I have no ads on the website. I run no ads on YouTube. I don't take free games from developers. So if I'm clickbaiting, it is the worst fucking money-making clickbait scheme of all time. Nobody's heard of me. or whatever.
You need to
so
run what they do now. They know
now.
Hey, so now next time you do another review, make it spicy.
I don't need to make it spicy because all it takes to be spicy. I'm gonna keep it fucking 100. All you need to do to be spicy in today's video game review is not be a shit reviewer. If I'm going to be real, and not just look at games where everything exists between a 7 and a 10. You know how review score systems work right now? Nobody uses anything below a fucking like 6. You know how review scores work? It goes 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's exactly how the fucking review systems work across the internet right now, and has been for years. It's bullshit. People see a 2 out of 5 and they go, "Oh, it's a 4 out of 10. It must mean that it's not worth playing. Nobody should play. It's dog shit, and therefore this review is dog shit." That doesn't mean anything. That just means I'm using the whole fucking scale. If I stack this game up against like a Horizon Zero Dawn makes Final Fantasy VII Remake look like a pile of fucking monkey shit coded by a bunch of high school dropouts. The two ends of the review score have to be fucking used. At best, this game is a 3 out of 5 if they expanded more on Jesse, Biggs, and Wedge, which they didn't, and you're gonna find out when you play the game. Then it gets a 3.
Sounds like you've had an interesting week, sir.
So what I have to do too is I have to talk to the people who make the plugin that I use for the comments on my site, because you can comment as a guest. You don't have to be a member. It's just that you're just labeled a guest and you don't, it's whatever. You don't get to like add your own avatar and shit like that. But I have to talk to them because I need to find out a way to make it so that you can't upvote or downvote comments without signing in and being a member. Because a lot of the salty people there clicked through the website, went down, didn't comment, and then just downvoted everyone else's comments.
Yeah.
To the point where a lot of them, the positive upvotes on my own website, not M4G, were cut in half or less. Some went into the negatives because some people are so fucking salty about this review. But I did earn a number of new fans off of this review.
Boom.
And I earned some at least one fan just by how I responded to the people in the N4G thread.
There you go.
So it all came, and at the end, if you look at like the upvotes, downvotes and shit, it was basically a 50-50 split, and I got all that publicity to warcouncilgaming.com. So
there it is. Keep it spicy. Keep it going, Adam. Good job.
It happened. So that was my week.
Hey, that's exciting, man. That's exciting.
It's a big week. First article went up. Now, I don't expect any other review to get anywhere close to that for a long time because that was a perfect storm. It's Final Fantasy VII Remake.
No, dude.
It was a spicy 2 out of 5.
Bro, you've got fucking The Last of Us 2 coming out, bro. There's some big games coming out. You just need to get.
Yeah, but I'm not going to intentionally shit on a game to fucking like get put up on the website.
Adam,
for God's sake.
Adam, I'm gonna be 100% with you, bro. You don't need to be intentional. The way that you analyze games is some of the most douchiest, fucking honestly, bro.
Douchey? Really?
Okay, maybe douchey isn't the word I want to.
Seriously?
Petty, maybe I think petty's probably the
petty. Okay.
Yeah. Your outlook on games and the way that you analyze and critique games, you don't even need to try to be spicy, bro. You just need to keep reviewing games, and it's gonna work out for you.
Yeah,
and don't take that as an insult.
But no, that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying is that bro, I'm using
your shit's fire, bro.
I'm using my entire fucking review scale. I'm not going to be the guy that gives every game a minimum 3 out of 5, 4 out of 5.
Just do you. Hey, I'm just do you, me, bro. Hey, I'm impressed. Your website looks dope. Your review is good. You put a lot of effort and work into it. You deserve the attention. Just keep doing you. Keep being spicy. Keep being Adam. You do that, bro, and you're gonna get a reputation.
I'm listening to this guy for 5 minutes. I can tell he's petty. Look, all I can say, I will be petty right now. Anyone want to go toe to toe? I'll be petty right now. I'll be petty. I'll be petty. I'll live up to it. It's like being called an asshole. Yeah. It's like being called an asshole. At some point, you go, all right, I'm an asshole.
Right, fuck you then.
Yeah, fuck you then. I'm petty. Yeah. I'm gonna say this right now. Anyone want to go toe to toe with me talking about Final Fantasy VII Remake? I promise you, I will either change your mind, or the best argument that you will have about it is, it's just because I like it. And that will be your best argument. I will shit on you publicly. I will make you look like a toddler. And I'll get it on the front page of n4g.com and then have you look stupid in front of even more people. I promise you.
Get it on N4G.
Anyone want to do it, I'll do it. And I'll make you look bad.
There it is.
So that
There
was
it
my
is.
week. Jeff, we got some
Boom.
gaming news to talk about. You ready to talk about gaming news?
I'm ready.
Let's go.
My body's
Nintendo finally gets around. Hey, remember that Mario 64 PC port?
Yes.
And?
It's gone?
Yep. Well, it's as
being
gone as
deleted.
it's as gone as Nintendo can hopefully make it. I mean, it's already on the internet. I mean, good luck with the Nintendo. The shit's everywhere. You know, people are going to be calling it like Tax File 2007 and like spreading it around the fucking like it's on the internet. It's there now. But they're doing their filing thing, the whole, you know, takedown notices, the usual shit, and you know, whatever the fuck. They're also going after like YouTube videos that showcase the gameplay of the PC port and whatnot. So they're really getting serious about it. And they have to. Like, people getting angry at Nintendo, but like, look, you have to, because if they don't, then it sets a precedent for court cases where in the future, if they were to take somebody or a group to court, that group could just say, well, they didn't do it over here, so what's different about this? And then Nintendo's fucked. So they have to chase these things down and to make it look like they're putting an effort in. Otherwise, yeah, legally, they have less of a foot to stand on, so they have to. So yeah, that happened, and unsurprisingly so. Next up, something that I'm sure other fighting games may have done, but if they haven't, I feel like all of them should. Especially right now, during the time where nobody is going to their bro's house to play a fighting game side by side like you would want to, because you want no latency. Skullgirls, which is a relatively popular fighting game, implemented a feature whereby you can actually see if a player is using Wi-Fi to play the game online.
Okay.
And if they are, you get the choice, do I actually want to play with this motherfucker?
That's actually dope.
And
like
the answer most of the time when you're playing a fighting game
No.
is no.
Hell, you know what? Even if you're on Wi-Fi, you don't even want to play with another person who has Wi-Fi.
Exactly, like which is the irony.
No.
It's just no.
The answer's no.
So if you're playing Skullgirls on Wi-Fi, you might notice a severely increased amount of time to find other people who want to play Skullgirls with you, and that's definitely a feature. Pretty much every single fucking fighting game should have if it has an online feature. Because, yeah, again, even if you have really good netcode, because really bad netcode can make fighting games on wired connections bad. But if you have, like, even good netcode on good Wi-Fi, you still don't want to play on fucking Wi-Fi. It's a terrible idea. So, yeah, that's a great choice. Hope I see that pop up more in other fighting games. And I have to say, I find it weird that anyone who's playing a fighting game online competitively would even bother to play on Wi-Fi in the first place, because normally that's a group of people who are really fucking like hard-nosed. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Like it's the group of people.
My ping?
Yeah, it's like, what's my ping? What's the fucking tick rate of the server? What's the net code looking like? Can I play this on a fucking CRT panel because I don't want to play it on a fucking LCD because the input latency is too high. So it's weird to me. Obviously there are casuals that play fighting games, but even the casuals in fighting game communities are fucking hardcore. So I don't know how many people are doing it, but they're gonna have a hard time finding games now. At least in Skullgirls. Next up, it is a list of games being remastered, Jeff, because they just keep pumping these bad boys out. It is like their modus operandi now, all these developers and publishers out there, to crank out remasters of their old games because their new ones just aren't selling. So let's start with Diablo 2. It's rumored anyway. We don't know for sure. You know it's happening regardless.
Oh, definitely happening.
Just a matter of when. So we're calling it possibly leaked and marked for a fourth quarter of 2020 release, which would put it way ahead of Diablo 4. We were talking about it as if they were going to do this. It would make sense to do it like 6 months, a year before Diablo 4 to build some hype, right? And keep Diablo on the lips of the players. But if they're going to put this shit out at the end of this year or early next year, that is way ahead of Diablo 4 and would seem like a bit of a wasted marketing opportunity unless they're really trying to just hunt down some money because they're struggling or something. I don't even know. Either way, it is rumored. Diablo 2 remaster. And apparently, Was it Vicarious Visions, I think is the name of the company, who worked on Destiny 2, not that that makes any fucking difference to anyone, but more importantly, the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, which was that complete remaster of the Crash Bandicoot games, that were done really well, is pegged to that. Hopefully, that is the case, and as few people from Blizzard as humanly possible lay their hands on it.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Like, if we can get that number down to 1, maybe even less than 1. Like an occasional email to the guy who gets coffee for the rest of the office. That would be ideal. Because nobody internal to that company do I have any faith with
No, dude, no.
for Diablo 2 Remake.
Hell no.
We're still looking at Warcraft 3 Reforged, and the list of bugs that are still in that game, and the list of features that they promised that still aren't in the game.
It's already dead, bro. It's already dead. And it's gone. Yeah. It was gone when it released.
Yeah, it's true. Next up on the list of remakes, EA reportedly caving and doing a Mass Effect Trilogy remaster for next year as well. People have been asking that about that.
Remastering everything. Just...
And you know, I had when I was playing Andromeda, I had a feeling playing Andromeda and that was like the best version of Andromeda. Like I played Andromeda long after they had like fixed Andromeda. And it wasn't that it was a bad game. It just wasn't a good Mass Effect game, really. And you could definitely tell where they ran out of time. And so the name of Mass Effect right now is kind of rough. Like it's not what it was, you know, circa Mass Effect 2 into Mass Effect 3 before everyone bitched about the ending. And you know that they don't want to obviously stop making games under this franchise name. I mean, it's a massive, no pun intended, IP, and they're going to want to make more games. But a good way to get the name of the trilogy back in good graces would be to hopefully knock a remaster of the first 3 out of the park. And so that's what we're hoping for. That is the reported thing that's happening, the trilogy. You know, 3 actually still stands up pretty well as a game. I don't think that's going to have a lot done to it. What I will be interested in is how much they change the combat and stuff of the first 2 games. Like, are they just going to do a visual overhaul with audio overhaul? Or are they going to retroactively apply the newer game combat systems, which were, according to the vast majority of players, I think mostly myself included, better by miles than the first game, certainly. Less the second game, but at least the first game. That combat system does not hold up nearly as well. So it would be interesting to see how much dev time they want to dump into updating the first 2 games. Because the third one's going to stand pretty well on its own with just visual and audio updates. But the first 2, especially the first one, that one needs some work. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. It was inevitable whether or not it is actually happening in the time frame that's being reported right now, which is apparently for sometime next year. Not a clue. But, you know, if they do it, they don't really have a lot of room for error because of how Andromeda left and how they need this to basically revitalize the name of Mass Effect before they even bother trying to explore the next Mass Effect game.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like what Halo's doing.
Yes, and we're going to talk about that because, boy, I tell you, they're not doing a good job. So we're gonna get to that too, but not yet because Jeff, there are more remasters.
Oh my God!
More remasters.
What now?
The next one, Mafia. A kind of a sleeper, honestly. I haven't played Mafia, but I have never heard somebody say anything bad about the Mafia games. And it is a thing that's happening now. It started with them kind of resurrecting their Twitter account. You know, updating images and shit. People were like, oh, what's happening? And then like less than 48 hours later, it was like, surprise! Mafia Remaster is on its way. So I've never heard anything bad about those games. They've always been visually like really impressive, especially for the time that they were released. And so if they get updated, I don't know if they'll use Unreal Engine 4 or 5. 5 we'll talk about here momentarily, but then yeah, all the better. They'll look fantastic. And I'd be interested in perhaps jumping in because I missed them the first time around. But to be able to have them now remastered and everything, if they're done well, then I know I'd be interested in giving them a look-see because apparently they are, like I said, quite good games. But the most important one, Jeff, the most important remaster of them all.
One that I actually am interested in.
What? Excuse me?
Hear it.
Jeffrey Johnston interested in a video game?
Boom. Bet you didn't think it was possible.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 getting the remaster treatment.
Number 2 is my jam.
Number 2 is everyone's jam, bro.
Yeah. I probably won't even play 1. I'd just be jumping right into 2.
Well, I don't, like, what I don't know yet is, are they keeping them separate? Because they did do a combo 1 and 2 game release.
Yeah.
Years and years ago.
I think they're going to combo
So if they keep that system, then you're just getting both games wrapped into one actual title and not two separate games coming as a package, but they're not separate. I don't know how they're tackling that. Either way, very exciting. Some of the most fire soundtracks to have ever been licensed for a video game. And that was my first thing. As soon as I saw it on my timeline, I clicked and I was like, fucking scrolling. I was like, please God, tell me the soundtrack is intact, because it's all licensed music. Like licensed music in the 90s and early 2000s, you get away with it. It wasn't as expensive, but you don't see licensed music in games as much anymore because shit is fucking expensive. But they pulled it off. Apparently the soundtracks are intact, and that's fire. But yeah, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 is such a fucking good video game.
It's dope. Yep.
It's actually, honestly, well, for one, it's one of the highest rated games of all time, which if you think about it, is kind of fucking crazy because it's a skating game. But it is dope. I did see a lot of people asking that, saying that they should have done Underground. I think that shows how old we are now, because really, if you were going to give me the option of Tony Hawk Underground, which is also a good game, but
number 2 all day.
It's number 2 all day, bro.
All day. All day.
When you played 2, who did you play as? Do you remember?
I don't really remember. I know I played a fuck ton of that game though. Like a fuck ton. A lot. Still have it back there.
Yeah, I might. Well, I have one of your copies, I think, or I have my own. I can't remember back here. I was playing it when I had the whole setup for Shitty Games Done Slow earlier in the year. I was playing it, and 2 things. One, I am fucking terrible at that game now. I used to know all the moves and shit. I could grind every rail in a fucking level and not stop. It was just nonstop, whatever the fuck. That was always the challenge, was how long can you grind and keep a combo going before you bailed out. And for me right now, that was 3 to 4.5 milliseconds before my ass tanked off the edge of a fucking rail. So I would love to be able to play it again, not on an N64 controller. So that's what I'm looking forward to with these updates. And yeah, it's just super cool and completely unexpected. Nobody was sitting at home going, "Hey, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 should get a remaster," and that would be dope. Nobody was thinking that. So that was a nice surprise, and it's not too far away. It's what is it, couple months? September?
Yeah, 5 months.
Yeah. So that's fire. That's fire. I don't remember who I used either. I know I didn't use Tony. I used what's his name?
I don't think I used Tony either. But
was his name Bucky? Bucky Lassick or something like that?
I don't know, bro. It's so many years ago now.
Shit. I wasn't I was literally those games on this street, which was just prior to you showing up here. Those games literally were the genesis of everyone on the street owning skateboards for a summer and being super into skateboarding for a summer. It was only for 1 year, but it literally, those games alone were enough to have all 11, 12 kids on the street running around with Walmart ass fucking skateboards, showing off the sick artwork on the bottom of the board, bro, and what trucks do you have? A bunch of 7-year-olds talking about shit we had no idea what the fuck we were talking about. But that was a guy. Oh, okay, there you go. Yeah, Bobby Lassick or something like that. Yeah, that was lots of dudes in there, all during a time where skating was far more popular than it is now. Okay, what else is next? Ah, here we go. So last week, Jeff, we talked about that third-party showing that Microsoft had for the Series X. And we talked about how it was lackluster because it was mostly games that were being developed for this generation that were being shown in this this event under the premise that they were all being like visually improved and to run better on the Series X, right? Enhanced for Series X or whatever they said. And they said there was going to be lots of gameplay. And we also talked about the fact that there was not lots of gameplay.
Minimal.
And if it was gameplay, they were changing the definition of gameplay.
Yeah.
And so, yes, there were a couple of games that stood out and we talked about them, but in general, it was a pretty shit showing. And it was their first major misstep in all of the, like, Xbox Series X stuff, news and stuff that they've been releasing. It was like the first real major misstep. And the internet did not let them fucking get away with that shit. They came down on them pretty hard. Especially the gameplay part. People weren't really necessarily so upset about the fact that it was a bunch of third-party titles and they were for current generation stuff.
Yeah,
whatever, that's fine.
Showcase, so it is what it is.
People expected that. But the gameplay part, people weren't so happy about that one. They let them know. And so Microsoft actually did respond, and they admitted that, hey, we set wrong expectations about the gameplay. Our bad. I don't think they'll make that mistake again.
I do.
I don't think they'll make it in the same... I think they'll still show games like that, but I don't think they'll label everything as gameplay so readily now. Because if they do it a second time, holy shit. And you gotta know PlayStation's trying to learn from it too.
Xbox is doing what Xbox does. They're gonna fuck it up in the fourth quarter. I don't know what it is. I have no idea. It's not over for them. It's definitely a misstep. And people are now, the problem with this is now people are going to be looking for shit to bitch about, because I feel like everybody was excited. Even me, I'm like, fuck Xbox for a while. And then they started just doing the right things. They just kept their head down and they're just going, they're improving. Things are looking good. They're coming out with stuff. Everything's going great. And then the moment it's time to shine, they just do it again. And I actually believe that they're going to fuck this up again. They're going to do some dumb shit. Their presentations are going to be awful. And Sony's going to come in, the savior, because what's happening right now is Xbox's good reputation is starting to get tarnished. And people are now going to be looking for Sony to come out and just do anything right. I mean, Sony could come out and do a half-ass job. And at least it ain't Xbox. They're going to have gameplay footage. They're not going to, because Sony does this shit right. I mean, their whole thing that they did, whatever the hell that thing was before, but that was like a weird, I don't know what the...
Dana Carvey got up on stage and talked for a while.
Yeah, but I think even the fans kind of knew what that was to a degree. Like, they weren't expecting much.
Well, Sony fans were.
But this was different. Like, people thought like, oh shit, here we go. Finally, we're in quarantine. We're looking for just something exciting in our lives. PlayStation hasn't shown anything. Xbox is taking initiative. They've been doing all these right things. Game Pass is crushing it. We're hearing all these great things. But bro, this is it. This is Xbox comeback. And you know what they do? They drop the ball, and they drop it bad. This isn't even like a small drop. There was nothing exciting or memorable of that presentation. It was just disappointment. It was like taking a fucking girl home at the end of the night, and you're going, you know what? I'm at least going to get my dick sucked. and you go in there, and she's passed out. You got nothing. You got nothing but a hangover, and you got $200 less in your wallet.
Wow, that's an expensive date.
And then she wakes up in the morning, and she realizes, what the fuck? Why am I even in the house with this guy? And then she leaves. That's what that was. They had to at least come in and at least cup some balls and stroke a taint and do something. And they didn't even need to do much. They needed to at least have a wow moment, like one wow moment. They didn't need to have Keanu Reeves come out on stage or some shit. They just needed to have one wow moment. They had zero wow. Zero.
They didn't need Keanu Reeves. They needed Owen Wilson to come out and say,
wow. That's what they needed. They needed something. They needed anything, but instead they dropped the ball. There was no gameplay footage, bro. That shit was in-game fucking.
There were like two games that stood out that I mentioned actually that were actual just with no UI on it, but you could tell it's legitimately gameplay.
Like the Calm game or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Like that shit. And dude, it didn't even look impressive. It just looked like more of the same shit we've already seen.
Because it's for this generation, right? That's what it is.
But you know, a lot of people as well thought that we were going to be seeing a glimpse of the new Xbox and what things are going to look like. It was just disappointing all the way through. They created hype and they didn't follow through. So, they're going to do it again, bro. I'm going to guarantee you on the big stage, when it comes time to do something, they're going to do something stupid. And people are going to go, okay, Sony, what do you got? Sony's going to come in and they're just going to do okay. Or they're going to have that wow moment and Sony's going to win again. And Sony isn't even saying anything. Bro, that's the beautiful thing, is Xbox actually had a chance to just put Sony in the corner and have them going, fuck, okay, we need a game plan. We need to strike back. Dude, Sony has said and done fuck all. We don't know anything really about the PlayStation 5, and they're already winning. How crazy is that? They haven't even done anything yet.
So I really don't know why they even bothered to go through with that showcase. Because from a marketing perspective, if you're sitting back and you're looking at how Xbox is running, and this is how I think this happened. So we know from last week as well, we talked about the fact that Microsoft has announced that they're going to release once a month some sort of major news about the Xbox. And I think that internal game plan, that outline that they're trying that they're trying to hit, the target of once a month, whatever, I think that superseded common sense, where they could have sat back and said, look, guys, Sony hasn't said anything. People are question marks everywhere about Sony. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? And we've got all checkmark positive everything around the board right now. All we need to do is guide it home. We just need to guide this bad boy home. This is an easy. It's T-ball now.
T-ball.
We got Sammy Sosa hitting a beach ball sized ball off of a fucking tee, using a Cadillac from 1978. You can't miss. Literally impossible. Except instead, they stuck a blind paraplegic trying to swing a Ford Pinto at a gnat, and they missed miserably. Shit was horrible. All they needed to do was cut this out entirely. Wait for the first-party titles. That's going to always pop off. Nail your first-party showcase. Nobody gives a fuck. I'm interested in a couple of games there, but nobody gives a fuck about third-party titles being developed for current-generation consoles that are getting enhanced on the next gen. Nobody, like, it's cool that it's happening, and yes, you should let people know that that is happening, but you don't do a showcase where the first real, again, quotation marks, gameplay being shown for your console en masse is third-party titles for this generation. That should have never happened. With the buzz around the console right now, and even if it wasn't as positive as it was, it still shouldn't have happened, because the takeaways from that third-party development showcase was a game that's been on Steam developed by one dude for fucking $5 ever, and now it's going to cost $60 on the Xbox. A fucking penis that dripped legitimately. A game that looks like a neat puzzle adventure game that should probably cost $39 to $49. And a horror game that's relatively niche that looks good, but is not going to be selling consoles. Everything else in that showcase was completely completely forgettable, completely
Well, you know why?
unnecessary. With Yakuza, like whatever the feel like a dragon, whatever dragon thing the Yakuza thing was, will get people excited. But it's coming from, again, this generation.
Yeah.
None of that needed to happen. And you know what fucking happened like 4 or 5 days after that shit? Or 7 days almost to the day. Sony does a fucking brilliant move. They didn't have to show off anything internal, first party, third party in terms of games. But what they did do is they went to Unreal and said, hey guys, your Unreal Engine 5, it's coming. We've been working alongside of you because you know these consoles are coming. How about you do your Unreal Engine 5 reveal exclusively running on our next-gen console in real time, and that will be the first exposure to show that shit. How about we do that? Because it's now, if they had done that without Microsoft showing this shit third-party thing, I don't think people would have clued into a very important piece here, is that, and we're going to watch this here in a second if you haven't seen it already, because the shit looks fucking wild. Even if it is a demo, apparently the guys came out and said, this is with the controller playable. This is a thing. We're just showing it with no UI. This is it's not a game in development, but this is all running, and what to expect is possible in real time on the PS5.
All right. Say no more. You've sold me. Let's watch it.
So, Sony drops this. And I'll say with the very, I have to put the starting soon screen up here for a second. The very important piece of information that doesn't matter because it's overshadowed by how good this looks and the fact that they had the PlayStation stamp on it. So I'm going to pop this up here. Get this going here momentarily. We're going to get the trailers up. Okay. And you let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
Epic Games.
Bro, the
Hello, I'm Brian
leap
Karras, Technical
from
Director of
4 to
Graphics
5
here at
is
Epic
huge.
Games.
Oh, wait a minute.
Hi, I'm Jerome Plateau, Art Director of the Special Project.
I
Few
thought
years
this was
ago, we
just
got
what they
together as
showed
a
off.
team and
Anyway, we'll watch
brainstormed where
this.
we thought
Fuck
we
it.
could push forward the state-of-the-art in real-time graphics. There were 2 key areas that stood out. The first, dynamic global illumination. Beautiful bounce lighting, instantaneously.
I don't have to be constrained to do a game where the world has to be static, and I'm able to iterate a lot faster.
And we call this new system Lumen. And we're about to show you what it is capable of. But first, there was another area that we thought we could push forward. Truly virtualized geometry. The artist wouldn't have to be concerned over poly counts, draw calls, or memory. We could directly use film quality assets and bring them straight into the engine.
And that's a big deal for artists. I just want to be able to import
That's
my
a big
ZBrush
deal
models,
for artists.
my photogrammetry scan,
Very
my
French.
CAD data, without wasting any time optimizing, creating LODs, or even lowering the quality to make it hit frame rate.
In the end, that's what it's all about. Art that just works. And we call this new technology Nanite. Here is the
We
future
call this
of
new
Unreal
technology
Engine running live on
having a really
PlayStation 5.
fast solid-state drive.
Let's take a look at it.
This has to be the right way.
Ooh.
Yeah. So it's running its own. This is not using like RTX or like ray tracing in that sense. It is using apparently its own.
Before we continue, let's stop
version.
a moment and take a look at some of the key features of this demo. Much of what you see was built with Quixel Megascan assets, but instead of using the game versions, we used the cinematic versions, which would typically only be used in film. There are around 1 million triangles each, and thanks to virtual texturing, they all use 8K textures as well. Nanite can render an insane number of triangles very quickly. There are over 1 billion triangles of source geometry in each frame that Nanite crunches down losslessly to around 20 million drawn triangles.
This is what we needed.
What does that
Yeah,
mean?
You know what I mean?
yeah, and that's why I said
This
with the
isn't
Xbox
noise.
thing, I said that's not
These are
what
the
you should
triangles,
expect.
Each a different color. Most
This
are
is
so
what you
small
should
that
expect.
They look like noise. Nanite achieves detail down to the pixel, which means triangles are often the size of pixels. This amount of geometric detail requires shadows to be pixel accurate as well, and Nanite can do that too. Speaking of lighting, all of the lighting in this demo is completely dynamic, with the power of Lumen that even includes multi-bounce global illumination.
Yeah, so that's
No
a version
light lamps,
of...
no baking here.
Yeah,
Without
it's a version
GI,
of ray tracing.
all of that beautiful lighting is gone. With Lumen enabled, we can move the light and the bounce changes instantly.
God damn.
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep going.
See, this is what I meant before as well. We talked in the podcast where consoles push games because they have to build for consoles. But PC is too variable of a system.
Convolution reverb
and then
allows us to
this
measure
makes PC gaming better down the road.
characteristics of real spaces, like
But look how
actual
good this
caves
looks.
that we sampled, and reproduce them in virtual spaces. Sound field rendering allows us to record and play back spatialized audio. All of this adds up to a more immersive experience.
By the way, this is just what the next Tomb Raider game is going to look like, in case you're wondering. They just didn't want to actually put Lara Croft in because they would have had to pay somebody.
This swarm of bats was created with our Niagara effects system. Particles in Niagara can now talk to one another and understand their environment like never before.
I know I like my particles to talk to one another, Jeff.
Hell yeah, I do.
We've also added a ton of new functionality to run fluid simulations like you see in the water below.
You know what I want? I want Horizon Zero Dawn 3 running in this shit.
This
what I
looks
want.
insane.
Now, keep your expectations in check because, boy, he talked about mega scans. You can't do that for fucking everything in a video game, really.
Demo runs on our chaos
Artists
physics
still need to
system.
be able to do shit.
Here we are using it to accurately simulate
So,
the rigid bodies.
unless
of
your
falling
artists have all the
rocks
time in the
and
world,
cloth at the start.
just sit down and do some of this shit. You know, it's not like this is... Let's put it this way. It's not hard to mega scan a bunch of fucking rocks and put them in. Now, if you're gonna do a really intricate building that's done
Now
by
that the
artists,
environment is so
that's a different...
complex, we've needed to greatly improve our
a different
animation
thing.
systems to adapt. We've added predictive foot placement and motion warping, which dynamically modifies IK and body position to look more natural. For the character to more realistically interact with the environment, we've added the ability to trigger seamless contextual animation events, like her hand on the door.
Looks promising.
Dynamic GI is amazing, not just for speeding up iteration, but also for its impact on gameplay.
Nice
Any light
looks.
source can move while
It
still
might
having
be.
beautiful bounce lighting. Dynamic illumination means specular as well, which you can see on all the metal surfaces. You can even see the Niagara-powered bugs reacting to the light. Lumen not only reacts to moving light sources, but also changes in geometry. Remember we mentioned high poly assets? This statue was imported directly from ZBrush and is more than 33 million triangles.
An
No
artist
baking of
just
normal
spent
maps,
half their
no
life
authored LODs.
to put this together.
Worth.
There you go.
And we can do more than a single statue. There are nearly 500 of that exact statue at the same detail level placed in this room.
There you go.
For a total of over 16 billion triangles from statues alone.
Jeff, that's half the entire world's available triangles
Over this
in one
entire
room.
demo, there are hundreds of billions of triangles. So with Nanite, you have limitless geometry, and with Lumen, you have fully dynamic lighting and global illumination, all running on a PlayStation 5.
That's your money shot.
But Jeff, did you know that you can see dripping penises exclusively on the Xbox Series X?
Couldn't give a fuck. This I give a fuck about.
Now, Jeff, what if you saw a dripping penis in this level of fidelity?
I'd care a little more about that dripping penis.
There's not much time left.
Like, it looks like you're
This
playing a
doesn't need to be
fucking CG
Cutscene?
cutscene
Yep.
all the time.
It can
Yep.
stretch
Pretty
all
insane.
the way to the horizon.
There's your draw distance.
Holy fuck.
Portal, it's open.
The portal is open.
This is gonna make me want to buy a new
Don't stand
TV.
now.
Yup. Well,
Well, not you. You're good.
not me. Yeah.
You might, yeah. Well, maybe, well, yeah.
Ooh, that's cool. Wow. This is crazy. Wow.
I like that it's still stylized and they didn't go for full, like, fucking realism. You know what I mean?
You still feel like you're playing a video
Yeah.
game
To
Yeah.
see what's next.
because when it gets too real, it starts to.
Uncanny Valley is a hell of a drug,
Yeah.
bro.
It doesn't. It's not as effective.
No. But you know what was effective?
That presentation.
That presentation.
Right there, dude. That's insane. That's insane. Bro, I don't even care about this type of shit, but that right there makes you care. That shit's crazy.
So, now don't get it twisted. There wasn't somebody holding the controller. They just put up X to fucking interact and shit. However,
of course, but I mean, god damn, dude.
you should never expect that a game is likely to look that good all the time because that is still a tech demo. It is running in real time, but it's still a tech demo. That is showing like that is Unreal sitting down with PS5 dev hardware and making the best possible audio visual experience.
They're selling you on this shit, you know? This is
However,
like this is a Big Mac commercial, and they got
Yes.
that beautiful looking Big Mac.
yes.
Now, when you get it, it's not going to look exactly like that, but hey, it's still a Big Mac, and you still should be impressed.
I mean, once in a while, they're still not all that impressive. I mean, let's be honest. There's some,
they're still not. You know, it's just really depends on who's taking the care with the Big Mac in behind the scenes. You know what I mean? There's
Exactly.
people that spend a lot of time on crafting that perfect looking Big Mac, and then there's people that just slap shit together
that's
like
right.
an Xbox presentation, and you that's what you get. But that was cool. I like that.
So, yeah, that's your absolute best case scenario. You're not going to see that. If you do,
For
it won't be
now.
until the end of the fucking console's life cycle, probably.
Yeah.
But it does show just how crazy stuff can get with the new consoles coming. So here's a couple of important things. One, it's still not gameplay, and they still like to misconstrue the definition of gameplay, much like Microsoft did, but in a different way, and that's whatever. The more important piece of the pie here, information-wise, is that what nobody's talking about is that most people are pumping this up for PlayStation 5 because it's running on PlayStation 5, right? And that's fantastic news. The smartest thing that Sony ever did was this so far because, again, they didn't have to show off any of their games. They showed off the absolute, like, fucking near the maximum that console is going to be pumping out. But they did it with a third-party engine developer.
Yep.
That engine is going to run as well or better on the Series X,
Yep.
but Microsoft didn't hop on or pay the money to have that demo run on their console. And so now the discussion is how good the PlayStation 5 shit is looking because people aren't going to go, oh, well, games aren't going to look like, all that, whatever. They don't give a shit about that. They saw PlayStation 5, that's running on PlayStation 5. We saw an Xbox presentation. It looked like a bag of smashed assholes lit on fire in the middle of a fucking street.
Yep.
That's
Dude,
what
there's
goes
gonna
away
be-
with people.
It was so poorly done, Microsoft, that there's people that legitimately think the stuff they saw was next gen.
Yes. Exactly.
And then they see this with PS5 and it truly looks next gen.
yes.
And they go, "Whoa, look at the difference."
Yeah.
That's bad. That's not good for Microsoft. That's not good.
No, it's terrible, actually. It's awful.
It's a bad time. So Yeah. Interesting. That was cool. That was a cool little watch.
So there you go. So that's Unreal Engine 5. What's going to be very interesting will be to see what it will take to see that kind of stuff on a PC, because a lot of what's going on there, as graphically impressive as these next gen consoles are, it's the speed of the memory working with their storage that is allowing that many triangles to appear on screen at the same time and load without issue and all that shit. You don't really get that on PCs right now. Will you be able to? Yes. Is it going to cost you a shitload of money? You bet your tight little ass it is. And so for a short while, and I'm not fucking with you here, for maybe a year to 2 years, the PS5 and Xbox Series X, with first-party titles that are really pushing these systems, are going to look and run better than pretty much, not all, but almost every PC that any one of us owns, down to me with a 2080 Ti. It's just it's not gonna stand up. It'll still look good, but the consoles, for the first time in a couple of generations, are gonna have the jump on high-end PC gaming, which is fucking wild. It's great news because it's going to push PC gaming stuff forward. But PC Master Race for a couple of years will be Console Master Race for a short time, and that will be fun to see how it pushes hardware on the PC front. Because inevitably PCs will pass by, but it will only happen because developers have been given these consoles to max out, and then it passes on to PCs. So there you go. In related news, Unreal Engine 4, which is the current tech, is the licenses are being changed for that. So they're waiving the royalties that you would normally pay if you use the engine on the first $1 million in game revenue, which is fucking enormous for indie developers. So that means if you want to build your game as an indie dev in Unreal Engine 4, you don't have to pay a red fucking cent on that usage until your game has made more than $1 million in revenue. Which for most indie devs, if you even hit $1 million, that's a massive fucking achievement, and it allows you to make another game or two. So that's fucking huge. That's gonna be you're gonna see a lot of indie devs move to Unreal 4 just for that. Not to say that already Unreal 4 isn't already a pretty good engine to build it with in the first place, but just for $1 million fucking dollars in revenue before you get to pay out of pocket to Unreal, or Epic, that's fire. Next up, with more positive news in Sony's court, a bunch of, and in fact, I think it's either happening right now or has already happened today. They had a state of play for Ghost of Tsushima, that samurai first-party exclusive for the PlayStation, and a bunch of info dumped on that game. And so you could probably watch a state of play, but I'll just run over some of the stuff that we now know about the game. It's an open-world samurai adventure, which everyone would have known by now. The game is grounded and realistic. There's no supernatural elements to the game, so it's not magic and shit like that. It's you with a motherfucking sword against other dudes with a sword. The game is an original work of fiction. They are not rebuilding history stone by stone. Ghost of Tsushima is enormous, apparently. The biggest game Sucker Punch has ever made by a wide margin. You can play the game with a Japanese voice track, which lots of people are going to be happy about. And honestly, given the game, it's probably best to play in Japanese anyway, unless you really don't like reading. There's no branching narrative, so this is a straight shot. Whatever they tell you is going to happen is going to happen. Game comes out July 17th, so you can look forward to that coming up pretty soon. It does have a photo mode, which is great news because it's a good-looking game. Multiple difficulty settings. That's interesting because it is pegged by many to be, up to this point, a Souls-like. And normally you don't get any difficulty modes in that. That's the bend over and bend over hard. And that's it. But this has some difficulty modes. So obviously there must be a fair amount of story element stuff here that they don't want to scare people away from the game so that they can experience the actual story of the game itself. Not going to be a UI heavy game, so apparently a lot of the combat and stuff, it's going to look very cinematic because there's not going to be a bunch of shit all over the screen. The swordplay and the horse are all motion captured. The composer of the game is Shigeru. I don't know how to pronounce that last name, so I'm not going to even bother trying to butcher that shit. However, you can see more of that with that state of play. The game doesn't have any waypoints. I don't even know what the fuck this game is anymore, but there's a lot going on, and it looks pretty fucking wild. People are very excited about one specific feature, Jeff. You can, at any point in time, clean your sword of the blood of your fallen enemies by pressing a button.
There you go. Fantastic.
So that's what I know I look forward to when I'm playing a game, is cleaning my weapon of the blood of my fallen bitch-made enemies. Next up, in hardware news, just to briefly squeak this in, I probably should have put underneath the Unreal stuff, but it's 2 seconds long anyway. AMD's new budget CPUs, we're talking like $100, $110 and under, US, are really fucking good. Like, if you're just playing PC gaming, they're actually, like, stupid good, to the point where people are wondering why AMD is only charging $110 for these. Because not only are they good, they also overclock really fucking well. And so what people are particularly excited about, other than the fact that these things cost, like, next to nothing, is that the 4th gen Ryzen stuff, which is already in laptops, which is already besting desktop processors of AMD's in some instances, those desktop versions are coming in the not too distant future. And that shit, if Intel doesn't have something magical, some sort of massive dick hidden somewhere, the game is it's already changed, but the game is going to be in a whole strumma level when this shit comes around. We're talking, honest to God, like, I don't even know what AMD's doing. AMD almost needs to put the brakes on. Motherfuckers are going too fast. It's like they're showing all their cards when they only need to show like one. They're giving them all away. Yeah, just incredible fucking leaps forward here for PC parts from AMD. Next up is what we were talking about earlier when you were mentioning them with all the remasters and stuff, what they were doing with the Master Chief Collection. Halo 2 Master Chief Collection's release landed here the other day. It had a small delay, but they inevitably got it out, with a number of the same bugs that we've seen before in the other parts of the Master Chief Collection. And more. And features that didn't quite make the launch window as the collection continues to struggle. So I have a list of some of the bugs here. And, like, honest to God, so this... The Master Chief Collection, just to remind everyone, this is the second time the Master Chief Collection has been put out. We had it on the Xbox One already. It came out in 2014, and they didn't finally fix the game in its entirety, and they still didn't fix everything, until 2018. It took 4 fucking years for them to do that. So when everyone heard that the Master Chief Collection was coming to the PC, they were like, oh good, this time we get the fixed version, and maybe even a little bit better because it's going to be running on PC hardware. The answer to that is no, you're not. It's going to be broken and worse than the Xbox fixed version, and they don't have any timelines on when a lot of these things are going to be fixed, if ever. While on top of that, making the weird decision of adding new features to the game before they've ever actually fixed all the myriad shit that's wrong with these releases. So I've played everything on the Master Chief Collection up to this point with Halo. I haven't played Halo 2 yet. I do have some community members who have, and they're not exactly fucking thrilled with it. I was watching, Shady, for example, was streaming it the other day, and saw it there, and there was all sorts of shit going on. So, known bugs. Are you fucking ready for this shit? They released this in this state. I don't know what the fuck they were doing. And there's a patch on, like, day one for the Xbox that still has a bunch of bugs. On the Xbox, in co-op multiplayer, the HUD will become off-centered when zooming in. Terminal videos default to English only. In-game audio plays while viewing terminal videos. Subtitles are not present in the campaign gameplay. Subtitles are out of sync in audio with the audio when viewing cutscenes. Users on AMD hardware may encounter missing and or flickering textures across the campaign, such as the elevator on Oracle. Oracle has several graphical issues, including around glass flood tanks, clouds, and lighting effects. Cinematic audio for Halo 2 and Halo 2 Anniversary is affected by different audio option sliders. Enemy elites do not dual wield in the campaign. Campaign cutscenes are much louder than the gameplay. Some campaign missions have FPS drops in the on the first launch of the mission. When having multiple audio devices and swapping between classic and remastered graphics and cutscenes, the audio can change output devices. When using a Ryzen 5 specifically and AMD GPU, large rectangle volumes appear on the mission Oracle, which apparently is just a really broken mission. Blur cinematics and terminal videos have visual issues in non-16:9 aspect ratios as they were rendered in 16:9. Gunfire sounds are missing from multiple weapons in the Scarab Skull with the Scarab Skull active. With a Scarab Gun Skull active, a hard lock can happen when firing a plasma rifle after swapping weapons with an elite. Sentinel lights will display for a short time after death before disappearing. Some environmental textures appear in the lower than expected resolutions. Music will loop incorrectly on Metropolis while on Scorpion Tank. Using NVIDIA GPUs on classic graphics, various foliage environmental LOD textures are completely missing. Gravemind on co-op has hitches, and with poor network connections, disconnects can happen. When swapping between classic and remastered graphics, music will change to different parts of the track randomly. Pixelation on shadows consistent in anniversary graphics. Forge map lighting is not appearing correctly. Performance lowers during gameplay of 3 plots. Texture resolution is displaying in low quality through various parts of the title. When looking at the fan on Stone Town, FPS sometimes drop to 45. Audio is missing when reloading weapons when done quickly. Primary weapon audio decreases if you are shooting while picking up secondary weapon. Decals on the Gauss Warthog turret will detach from the model during the firing animation. When using newer Intel drivers with onboard graphics, you can't launch. Performance in theater films is capped to 60 FPS when the frame rate is set to unlimited. There are no inversion options in the settings menu for dual wielding. Lighting is inconsistent between Elite and Spartan armors. There is visible stuttering on objects when strafing with unlimited frame rate enabled. Sound effects do not play for the player holding the oddball when playing Hot Potato. The Hoplite armor is missing a rear armor piece in gameplay entirely. We're almost done. When using voice chat, there is no notification that players are talking. The music mixing is much quieter in the Master Chief Collection compared to the original. Team spawn systems do not have parity with the original. Bullet registration is not on parity with the original. The respawn timer is hidden by the territory capture meter in multiplayer. Gamma values are excessively blown out compared to Legacy. Super bouncing does not mirror the Legacy. Snow visual effects does not match Legacy behavior on snow weather missions and maps. The sun is not rendered on most maps and missions. When playing at higher fields of view, textures will appear to pop in more frequently as LOD distance is shortened. And finally, Banshees turn faster when using a mouse and keyboard. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Halo 2 Alpha release, put out to the public as a full release, and that, my ladies and gentlemen, is also after a patch. So if you're wondering if Halo 2 on Master Chief Collection is currently worth playing, the answer is probably not, or have a lot of patience. Although apparently, depending on what hardware you have, you might not be playing it at all right now.
Yikes. I mean, we could have just literally for this subject just said it's dog shit and it's broken. Here's a link if you want to waste your time.
Don't worry, Jeff. I wasted everyone's time for them.
Holy
Next up.
Fuck.
My only assumption with all of those bugs and releasing the game, it is really and truly fucking broken as hell, is I can only assume they're doing this because they're trying desperately to hit the release window for Halo Infinite at the end of the year. And so now they're just trying to push these games out Doesn't matter how they are. Get them the fuck out the door because we've got to get the window open for Halo Infinite at year's end. And so there you go. The PlayStation Store allows people to rate games before even having played them, meaning you can pre-order a game.
Don't do that.
Meaning you can pre-order a game and review it before even having it on your console. As such, The Last of Us 2 is currently sitting at over 800 5-star reviews, and the game is not even out yet. Maybe Sony wants to change that.
Yeah, that's bad. That's real bad.
Like if your hope is with a rating system on your storefront is to let people know how the players are feeling about the game, maybe wait until the game's out before people can actually rate the game.
Yeah. You might want to do like verified purchases too, so that like people aren't just fucking,
Yes.
I don't know, doing what everybody hates is done on Steam, where you just go there and hate on a game because somebody fucking, you found out that some CEO like hit his wife on Twitter.
Yeah.
And then you're just going to go to Steam and like completely destroy the game
Yeah.
that he worked on. And you're going to hit that fucking, that downvote button and the 1-star rating.
So I guess people are only noticing this because it's The Last of Us 2. So obviously lots of people are taking a look at the page, and it looks a little weird because the game is obviously not out, and it's over 800 5-star reviews.
What? This might actually be okay. Because everybody knows what this game does, and they already know all the spoilers, so they can pretty much do a review. But every other game, no.
True. Everyone does already pretty much know how that game goes. So, yeah, okay. Fair enough. Keep it in, Sony. Working as intended. Paper Mario. Paper Mario. This just happened today, actually. Oh, no, wait. We'll talk about that after. Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So when we were watching the Xbox showcase and they showed the gameplay, quote-unquote gameplay in that bad boy, they had lots of slow motion, kind of like it wasn't really, it didn't look like it was running particularly crazy. This would be why. Assassin's Creed Valhalla is somehow only targeting 30 FPS on the Xbox Series X. I'm going to say that one more time.
It's a big note for me, dog.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla is targeting a min 30 FPS frame rate.
Well, they need to target a little higher. Like 30 frames higher. Or don't release.
0 games in this next generation on consoles, and I mean truthfully, 0, should be under 60 FPS ever.
Yeah.
It shouldn't even dip. Like, not even like, like 58? No. Like for like a microsecond? No. It's 60 FPS minimum.
Or nothing.
Or nothing. It's 60 FPS minimum or hire new programmers. There is no universe.
That's crazy. It's 2020, bro. It's 2020.
Nobody wants to hear about how crazy these consoles are and to see the fucking tech demo we just saw from Unreal happen and even understand that they're using an older engine and building for an older game and at any point in time convince anyone that they couldn't hit a 60 FPS target on the Series X or PlayStation 5. It just ain't happening.
Nah.
Yeah, 60 FPS minimum. And that's it. And 60 FPS minimum, if
dude,
you're
that's still, dude, honestly, 60 FPS is still kind of dog shit at this point. I'm just gonna like, that should just be the bare minimum.
That's what I mean. That's the floor now.
Yeah, that's the floor.
30 FPS is not the floor anymore. 60 FPS is the floor now.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you know right now that if they don't get that fucking number up, I'm just not buying that game even to review it. I'm not playing a game at 30 FPS on a new console.
It's spicy, Adam. Hey, 1 out of 5. 1 star. And in your title, 30 FPS.
And that just has 6,000 words, which is 30 FPS, copy and pasted.
Yep, write a small novel.
No. It just says 30 FPS period, 30 FPS period, 30 FPS for like 6,000 words.
Yo, that's going to be 400 degrees.
Yeah.
Celsius.
Wow.
That's hot.
That's hot.
That's real hot.
That's embarrassing. I don't know why they'd even fucking ever. I can't even imagine. I can't even fucking fathom that shit. Paper Mario. This got announced today. Paper Mario Origami King got announced and is releasing July 17th. July is a hot month in more ways than one. Lots of games coming out in July. Trailer is there. You can check it out. I've watched it, Jeff. You can watch it if you want. Give it a little peek-see. You've seen it?
Yeah.
I'm going to play it here because Nintendo will fucking like come after our children. So I'm not going to bother. It looks visually, at the very least, fucking
dope.
fire.
Yeah, it looks dope.
Looks fucking fire. I'm going to pick that game up.
Yeah, it looks dope.
I haven't played a Paper Mario game since the original one on the N64. That was a good game. Other Paper Mario games have been good, but this looks... You know what it reminded me when I watched it? Just how fucking creative and talented some of the people working at Nintendo are. They're operating on in a different fucking headspace than other video game developers.
Why Nintendo crushes it, dude. They have their own style, and it works. They don't do what everybody else does. That's what makes them special. And that actually adds to the fact that it's what makes the games look so good, is because they're unique. You look at Xbox and Sony, it's the same shit, bro. It really is. The hardware is pretty much the same. It's the same goddamn shit. The only thing you're getting is who's got the first party titles. Nintendo goes, hey, we got first party titles that people love that we don't rarely ever fuck up, like ever. And then on top of that, we don't look like everybody else. We're different. And that's why they win big.
It does really look fucking fire.
It looks dope as fuck, bro. It reminds me a lot of Egghead. Like when I first saw Egghead or Cuphead.
Cuphead, yeah.
Cuphead. When I first saw that, I had that like
that reaction, yeah.
That reaction, like, ooh, man. Like just the art style alone is like, I want to play that.
Yeah.
Looks dope.
And so I will. On July 17th this year.
Boom. Take my money.
Last piece of video game news, Jeff. In what the fuck were they thinking news? The Culling Origins introduces the most baffling what Jimquisition labeled pay to play model.
Oh.
Where you get one free match a day. That's all I've got.
Oh.
You pay to play, and then you get one free match, and then you pay to play.
No, I'm going to pass, actually. On a bigger news note, Epic, Grand Theft Auto 5.
Oh, did that happen today?
It happened today.
Oh, I didn't see it. I saw rumors, but I didn't see it drop.
Free to play. The whole Epic servers, everything just went down.
Really?
Oh, yeah. She crashed hard. Millions of people picking up Grand Theft Auto 5 for free. I wonder how much money Epic paid to get that licensing to bring that free for everybody so that people can download that launcher and have that shit installed. Shit's crazy.
And if they're playing GTA Online, then Rockstar will get some money from people buying microtransactions.
Yep. Big money.
That's fucking big money.
Huge money. Huge.
You know what's nice?
Throwing the dick around.
Maybe this will be when I hear about it again, but we haven't heard about people bitch whining and moaning about the Epic launcher in ages. Maybe this will be the thing, the catalyst that like has people go back and reevaluate where Epic's launcher is right now, and then we hear about how shit it is or whatever the fuck. But I haven't heard in ages. But this is probably going to have some people talking. That's big. So it brought down the servers, eh? Everything just fucking just.
Everything just crashed. People were telling me they were trying because I play Grand Theft Auto for a living, so it's like big news within the Grand Theft Auto community. And there's tons of people today that were just like, dude, everything's crashed. I can't do fuck all. I don't know if it's still up or not, but
Still
apparently
getting a 403 error from epicgames.com.
website's down. Everything's fucking down. There's millions of people. As soon as it went live, shit just crashed. And
Holy
that's
shit.
epic.
Holy shit.
That's pretty
Well,
crazy.
Not just again, not like Exig was pointing out in chat, not just free to play for the weekend.
No, you own that
You
shit.
own that game.
It's given to you. It's yours.
Damn.
And this is coming from, let's not get it twisted. Grand Theft Auto 5 is still selling ridiculous copies today.
Yes.
Like, this isn't like, oh shit, the game is dead. It's not selling anymore. This shit is like, you know what? The shit is selling. Epic must have thrown them some sort of ridiculous amount of cash.
Oh, they would have had to. Yeah.
And then now there's going to be pretty much everybody that was like, maybe I'll jump in. They can just go have it for free. The whole game, campaign, online, everything. This is crazy. It's nuts.
Well, all the best to whoever is trying to fix the servers right now. Godspeed. Because it's not like the demand for that server is going to go down for a hot minute. So blessed to whoever is dicking around with the servers trying to fix them. Because that's going to be friggin' crazy. That's nuts. That's like, I could have seen if they were doing like a free weekend or like a free couple of weeks, you know, whatever, but just free to own? Holy shit. That's crazy. There you go. Well,
and during quarantine time too, you know.
That's just it. It's like, you know, free game for quarantine.
Yeah,
and GTA 5 is a big game, and it's a good game.
It's a lot of gameplay. I mean,
a lot of game to get out of that.
Yep.
Mr. Black, you know what else is crazy and would bring the servers down?
What?
If everyone hit that like button.
And that patreon.com/legtv. Hook a brother up with $1. Stimulate our Patreon page with your Trump bucks. And if you don't want to do that, hit the like button. Yeah, pretty much.
Sorry, there was a rhyme there. You kind of had a little flow going. I figured I might as well
hit it. That's the way it is. Got to give a shout out to our sponsors. We got NordVPN. 70% off using the promo code OTT. Link is in the description of this video. Or if you're listening to this on some RSS feed, that's just nordvpn.com/OTT. 70% off, up to 6 simultaneous connections.
Keep selling it. I have to open a window. It's 25 degrees in here.
Hey, you were thinking, hey, I just watched everything on Netflix. I'm maxed out. This quarantine's been killing me. Well, when you use NordVPN, you can change your IP to a different country to watch another version of Netflix. And yes, Netflix has different shows and movies depending on the region that you are currently in, whether physically or virtually. Also, you can stay safe and stay anonymous. 30-day money-back guarantee, which means you don't like it, get your money back within 30 days, no questions asked. You can use it on your smartphone, your TV, desktop app, extension on your Chrome browser. But one click of a button, boom, you're in another country. NordVPN.com/OTT. Hey, they support the podcast. Go support them. When you're in the market for a VPN service, virtual private network, they're the ones you're going to think of. You're going to use that promo code OTT because we want to get renewed. And they're awesome. And it works. Servers are fast. You can game on them. You can stream on them. You can stream and game on them. You can stream, game, and listen to this podcast on them. NordVPN. Go check them out. Also going to give a shout out to Elgato. If you guys don't got a Stream Deck, well, you got to get one right now. whether it's a mini, a regular, an XL. They got it available for you right now. Link is in the description below. You need some lighting for your TikTok videos? You doing some solo photo shoots in the quarantine? You doing some streaming? Got a green screen? You need a green screen? Elgato's got it. They got the key light. They got a green screen. They got capture cards. Basically, it's a one-stop shop for your streaming needs and any other type of computer work that you're doing, not even just streaming related. So go and check out Elgato and get a dang Stream Deck because they're pretty fire. It's one big macro hotkey. You can just program it, click a button. You can have the technical alpha Patreon page right there as a button. Oh, you know what? I feel like giving. And click that. It's going to take you over to that Patreon page. After you're done throwing that money over on that Patreon page, you're going to click another button over to our iTunes page, and you're going to leave that review. Then you're going to click the third button, and that's going to go to War Council Gaming.
Oh.
And you're going to go check out his newest review that is spicy hot. And then you're going to go ahead and click another button. It's going to take you over to NordVPN. And you're going to go ahead and buy that 3-year subscription. It's 70% off using the promo code OTT. And then at the very end of all that is done, you're going to click another button. And there's plenty of buttons left. But you're going to click one more button. It's going to take you to Pornhub. And when you click on that button, it's going to actually open up a new sub of buttons. And each button within that Pornhub folder is going to be different categories. Asian, BBC, amateur, voyeur. What are some other ones?
I don't know. To be honest, I haven't actually used category porn in a while.
I'm just amateur.
I'm
just amateur pretty much all the time.
I'm gonna be real. I'm kind of out the game. So, but you got options.
Never out the game.
You got options.
Never out the game. And you know why I'm not out the game? Because it's just so easy to get into the game when I click a button on my Stream Deck.
It's true. Speeds it right up.
Shout outs to Elgato, who support the dang podcast. So get out there and pick yourself up at least a Stream Deck. Everybody can use one. It's like a second and third monitor. You didn't even know you needed it until you got it. It's life-changing.
Fun fact, Jeff. Ubisoft used the Stream Deck to help develop Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Let me tell you how you did it. They had a Stream Deck XL. You know how many buttons are on the Stream Deck XL? Yeah, how many buttons on the Stream Deck XL, Jeff? You want to let me know real quick?
4, 8, 12, 16 times 2, 34. Right? Is my math wrong? 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 30, 28, 32.
First try.
Fuck! I'm tired, all right? I'm fucking tired. I don't know if you see it or not. I streamed 16 hours yesterday, all right? I'm tired.
Okay, look.
And I used my Stream Deck the whole time.
Look, Ubisoft used the Stream Deck XL to help develop Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and this is how they did it. Their art department and the programming department got together, and they drew one frame and put a new frame on all 32 of those buttons, and then somebody took a camera and recorded as somebody pressed each of those buttons in succession to hit the target 30 frames per second.
Boom.
Elgato.
Boom.
You Elgato get one.
The Elgato 8. You know how they can fix that? By getting 2 XLs, syncing them together, and then they could get 32 plus 32.
68.
64 frames. You ain't getting me this time and stop fucking making fun. Anyway, movies and TV.
Moving on. AMC's stock rose almost 45% at one point on the rumors that Amazon was considering purchasing the company. I doubt that that's particularly likely given the current situation because stockholders wouldn't exactly want to see a cash-only acquisition, which is what would happen right now. But if the rumors were true, I mean, that'd be pretty interesting, be pretty crazy. I also feel like that'd be bordering on monopoly status, but hey, what do I know?
Well, we mentioned this before. I said, imagine you're an Amazon Prime member. Now you're getting a percentage off your movie tickets. It just makes sense. They could actually release their Amazon original films in their own theaters and digitally at the same time.
That's right.
They don't need to respect any type of theatrical window.
No, they just
Whatever
go for it.
Theaters.
That's right.
So
that is right.
it would be crazy if Amazon buys AMC. It'll be nuts.
Yes, it would be nuts. The incredibly popular Hamilton is getting released a year early as a Disney Plus exclusive.
That's big too.
It's also big.
I haven't seen Hamilton because, well, it's impossible to get tickets.
Yeah.
And they're hell expensive.
Yeah.
If going to New York wasn't already expensive.
Going to Broadway for Hamilton.
Next level. So they are actually bringing Hamilton to Disney Plus as an exclusive, and apparently it's filmed. It's like a unique experience. It's like you're getting the Broadway, but in a different way. And apparently it's supposed to be very, very dope. It's supposed to be a big thing, and Disney just swooped up the rights, and it's going on Disney Plus.
Boom. That's going to do big numbers, I'm pretty sure.
I'm going to watch that day one.
Yeah, that's going to do some big numbers. Lucasfilm exec doesn't want fans to care much about the canon because he says it's all fake anyway, Jeff. I don't even know how to respond to that.
I don't even know how to respond to that either. It's basically like this Lucasfilm executive going, you know what? Yeah,
just fuck you.
We fucked up the canon. We don't really care, and you shouldn't either, because it's all fake anyway. So, I mean, why have canon in the first place? You know what I mean? It's all fake anyway. Who cares? Fuck. Who cares?
Yeah. Just like Kathleen Kennedy's appreciation and love for Star Wars, it's all fake anyway.
Yep.
Jeff, what's next? Because I've got nothing else for movies and TV.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't watched anything. Nothing. We're just tech support.
Will Hawkins asks, what's your favorite beef in hip hop, past or present?
I gotta go with Ja Rule and 50 Cent.
That's a good one. That's a good. It's a good one because it's a closer match, right? You know, let's not pretend that 50 Cent is some sort of rap savant. Neither is Ja Rule. They're both not terrible, but their beef is fucking hilarious, and to watch it is pretty funny. I gotta say, obviously because I'm racist, Eminem versus everyone. It doesn't matter who his beef is with, as long as we get a diss track at M. That makes me happy because his diss tracks rarely disappoint. And so, it's M versus the world.
There you go. Good pick.
Kimmets, no question, just a comment. Jeff, you're looking more and more like Mr. Popo.
Oh, come on.
Everyone loves Mr. Popo, so it's not the end of the world, you know?
It's not the end of the world. Thank you.
Let's see. Stuka says, today is my birthday. Happy birthday, Stuka.
Happy birthday.
He said, which made me think to ask, what's the most memorable birthday either of you have ever had?
I'm gonna go. My 30th was pretty awesome.
I mean, I sang karaoke for the first and last time in my life at your 30th birthday because it was your 30th birthday.
And I was genuinely surprised. I swear, I had no fucking clue. Like, I had no idea. The only time that I thought something was going on was when I got out of the car, and as I'm walking towards the house, and I was blindfolded, I just knew we were back home because you just know your steps instinctually.
Yeah.
Just walking, like I knew where I was. And then I figured, like, okay, something's going down at the house, but I was not expecting virtually everybody, you know, all my good friends and family, like everybody was there. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty fire. Birthday. I sang. Everyone was loaded as fuck. I sang. What did I sing? It's Not Unusual.
It's Not Unusual. You crushed it too.
And then Jordan did the Carlton dance on the side while I sang It's Not Unusual. That happened. And nobody recorded it, and nobody will ever see it happen again. That was a one-off event.
It's all here.
It's all in Jeff's drunk mind. Saving it for later. Mine, I like all of my birthdays are kind of like the same. I'm not a big birthday celebration guy. I'm not into like it's just not me. And all of our birthdays are usually like pretty much the same in that, except for a year like this year, we combine birthday parties because so many of the family is here and we spend a lot of time together. So birthdays are around the same time. We combine them into all one birthday. All the family gets together, celebrates that group of birthdays. And then there's like one in like, you know, June-ish that we do, one in the fall, and then that's kind of how it goes. So I don't have any like crazy, I mean, they're basically all the same, which is fine because I'm a low-key birthday guy in the first place. I'm not like a huge birthday dude. I'm not somebody that like wants, you know, a lot of pomp and circumstance around my birthday. Mark asks, sorry, our editor Mark. How much Lego did you have growing up, and how much is still stuck in your feet?
I actually had a lot of Lego growing up. I had a big bucket. It's like a big
like Tupperware bucket.
No, it was you know, when you go to buy ice cream at corner stores, and they got those big white buckets.
Yeah, like the what? They're not 5 gallon, are they? They're like
5 gallon. That's it. Yeah, I think, you know, those big ones.
Yeah,
you know, I had one of those filled up. So when I would play, I would just dump it all on the floor and then just go for hours and then throw it all back in there. And yeah, and yes, we've all stepped on Legos. I can actually still feel what that feels like. And as a dad, I'm sure when my son gets a little older, because right now Legos are just too small, you choke on them and stuff. But as he gets older, I'm sure we'll get him Legos, and I'll be reliving that moment all over again.
And so will your feet.
Yes.
I owned a reasonable amount of Lego. I had a lot of like, Dad and I would buy a lot of like Lego models to like build. There was like, I had like a really big like yacht boat one and some like themed Legos and stuff that we would build. But once we built, like, it was a big model, you know, it'd take like 3 days. We normally like kept the model around. I didn't have like a big bucket of various Lego that got mixed up. And I didn't need to because Brian at the end of the street had the most Lego I've ever seen out of any individual on Earth. Which is an exaggeration, but he had a shitload of Lego. He had certainly the most of anyone I knew. He had those big Tupperware containers that you would like store things permanently in like a fucking garage with. He had like 3 or 4 of those. To the rim Lego. And so you could go, I mean, fuck you if you were trying to find a specific part. Like you were basically needle in a haystack. But he had so much Lego. He had so much Lego that for I remember one of my elementary school history projects, I rebuilt Fortress Louisburg in Lego.
Damn.
Because I had enough Lego at my disposal to rebuild fucking Fortress Louisburg from Lego. So yeah, he had a shitload of Lego. And we spent a lot of time playing on Lego. I spent a lot of time stepping on Lego, Shit fucking sucks, dude. Lego
Yes.
hurts. A lot. But yeah, there you go. Alexa asks, what would you think of a ticket system where parking tickets are calculated by income? Say a parking ticket is 1% of your annual income, drunk driving is 5%.
No.
Yes.
No.
Not that percentage, not those percentages, but yes. And here's why. People get to a certain level of wealth where they just get to ignore everything. See it all the time where you see people in downtown Halifax,
Bro.
BMWs, Mercedes and shit parked in illegal spots all over the city because they know that two things. One, parking in the city is a fucking nightmare to find. Two, you can pay up to $15 a day in underground fucking parking in places, and that's a lot of money for anyone that doesn't want to spend money on parking. Three, they know that they still have to have a rent-a-cop come by, find their car, and give them a fucking ticket. And four, any ticket that they get, they just don't give a fuck because they've got money. I've seen so many rich-ass, no, this is not to single anyone out, for any other reason than I've seen it. So many rich fucking Asian students in 7 Series BMWs and shit, and in fucking 350Z Fair Ladies and all this shit. Just ignore every parking rule ever existed because if they have to pay it, it means nothing to them. Fucking $200 is the pissing in the wind. Literally fucking nothing. And so they get to ignore rules. It's the same reason why a lot of people, they don't give a fuck about speeding tickets. It's like, what are you going to get? A stunting ticket in your fucking $300,000 car for driving 180, 200 kilometers an hour? Woo! Like, whoop-de-fucking-do. Here, I'll pay you my $5,000 and walk the fuck away. Who gives a shit? That's if the cops even catch me doing 200 to 300 fucking kilometers an hour, like that fucking asshole kid, 19-year-old, took his dad's Mercedes out on the fucking highway in Ontario and did 192 miles an hour on a public highway. You know why? Because he didn't give a fuck, and the parents loaded. The ticket price doesn't matter. But if you make it so it's a percentage of their income now they go, oh wait, we should probably not break this fucking rule because I'm rich as fuck, because it's going to cost me a fucking fortune. Watch how fast motherfuckers going downtown and ignoring parking rules, speeding tickets, whatever the fuck else they want to do because they've got money. Watch how fast they stop doing it when it's going to cost them a percentage of their yearly fucking income. Watch how fast it fucking happens. And watch how much money, whatever does to slip through, the cities and shit of the police officers that catch them doing that shit, watch how much that money actually gets to finally get put to use instead of just a pansy-ass fucking $15 parking ticket for fucking somebody's shit up. Oh my god, I'd love to see it personally. Just because of how many times I've seen the shit happen.
I'm not even gonna fucking... My answer is no. I think it's ridiculous.
You drive drunk, you get in an accident, you take a percent income every fucking time. No more of this fucking...
No, you drive drunk, you get in an accident, you lose your license. I mean, I don't think...
And you lose a percentage of your income. You're playing with somebody's life other than your own. Congratulations. You just lost your license, and you lose a bunch of your income. Suck some dick.
The amount of people that drive impaired, whether they're smoking weed, whether they're drinking or whatever, the reality is there needs to be stricter repercussions for breaking those rules, and a percentage of your income is not it. What it is your ability to drive should be it. So instead of losing money, because money, if you want to talk about the super rich and the rich people that don't give a fuck, they're not going to care regardless. What they're going to care about is if they can't drive their fucking car.
Are you sure if you take 5% of somebody's fucking $200 million in a year that they're going to stop and go, you know what? That's fine.
Such an extreme. Who the fuck is making $200 million a fucking year? Seriously.
We're actually talking about a lot of people.
No, actually, it's not that many people are making $200 million a year on their taxable income a year. It's just not happening. All right. If you want to talk about people that have money and truly don't care, the ones that are driving $400,000 cars, do you think they're going to give up the people that do $20,000, $30,000 service on their vehicles like it ain't fucking nothing they don't bat an eye about? They're not going to give a shit about a $10,000 fine, a $1,000 fine. What they're going to care about is losing their fucking license, not being able to drive, period. That's what needs to be hit. The money isn't needed.
Well, they lose their license anyway.
No, if you get parking tickets, you don't lose any points on your license. I could go downtown and get 50 fucking parking tickets. As long as I pay those tickets on time, nothing is happening.
But I'm not just talking about just parking tickets. I'm talking about fucking like car-related tickets in general.
If they're speeding tickets, yeah, they're losing points on the license. You do that enough, you're going to lose your license. Who cares about the money? The money is whatever. Trust me. You threaten people to lose their damn license and they get caught, they're going to stop doing that shit because they can't drive their $400,000 cars or whatever. And it's not even just the rich that are doing this, dude. This is everybody that's doing this shit.
Sure.
My fucking grandparents speed.
Sure.
You know, this isn't like
I speed.
Yeah. So this isn't like, oh, I'm so sick and tired of the rich doing this.
But that hits everyone.
It's everybody. You only take notice of the 7 Series BMW and the C63s, and you go, oh, these guys are fucking douchebags. But you don't take notice of the 1994 Honda Civic.
Yes, I do.
The exact same fucking thing. Well, then why don't you say that in your argument? Because they do it just
because those people
stand out like a sore thumb, and they're easy to point at because they have money, and you think that they don't have any consequences for the action because they can just go ahead and do it.
Because they don't most of the time.
No, because the motherfuckers that actually are doing this a lot, they don't even pay their fucking tickets. They don't give a fuck. They go around going, I don't care. What are you gonna do? I got no money to pay you. What are you gonna do? You're gonna take 1 or 2% or 5% of my fucking income? I'm not gonna pay this. I'm not gonna pay this ticket.
Then you go to jail.
Now we're taking. Oh yeah, so now we're gonna fill our jails with people that are getting tickets, and then we're going to pay more tax dollars on filling up our jails for people that are speeding or getting tickets. That's not the way to do it.
Okay, well, there's a fucking trail here. You start with a fine and a loss of points on license. Then you have to take the license, and if they're going to still drive without a license, what do? Just let them drive without a license because we don't want to fill the jail up? You have to do something.
What are you talking about?
There has to be a gradient of severity, because if you're saying it's not just money, then what other than taking their license away?
The question is about fines.
Yes,
okay?
But what you were saying is that it's not enough with fines. So I'm saying is that's fine to say. That's a lot of fines in one sentence. That's fine to say, but then there's always going to be something that has to happen that deters them.
Well, there already is. If you are driving your vehicle without a license,
yes,
you are getting arrested. Period. Like,
yes.
They're gonna tow your car,
sure,
and they're gonna send you to prison. I mean, that's just it. If you have an expired license, you're still driving around. That happens now. Like, that's already a thing. I'm talking about in terms of should people, it be a percentage instead of, oh, you know, I got a fucking a ticket the other day or a few weeks ago. For not having my plates renewed. I had no idea because I took my Mercedes out. I didn't know my plates were up. So I just drove thinking. They gave me $180 fine. What are you going to do? You want to take 5% of my income because I accidentally had taken it out of storage. I had no idea because I was driving a new car and for the first time my plates got expired. You want to take 5% of my livelihood?
I don't want to take 5% of your livelihood for that, but if you make it percent based, then it's always going to be higher.
1% of my yearly income.
Could be less than 1%.
That is fucking retarded.
Could be less than 1%.
Dude, just give me the fine, and then if I do it again, I get another fine, and if I'm breaking the law, I'm going to lose my license. It's just the way it is. What they need to do is, we're talking about regular ass tickets, it's, hey, if you continue to do this, you're going to lose your license. The problem is, most tickets, you don't lose your license unless you're straight up speeding, like you're like that dude you're talking about, that extreme thing. You're driving 200 miles an hour. Yeah, you're going to get stunting. You're going to lose your license. They might just literally cut your license up right in front of you. You're done, bud. Like, it's over. What they need to do, when it comes to parking tickets, because I'm only going by what the example you said. You're talking about the guy downtown that doesn't give a fuck, that's going to park there. Instead of it percentage base of your income, say, hey, dude, this is what happens. This is going to be a point off your license. You keep doing this shit, you're going to lose your license. You're going to be bussing down here. You're not even we're going to be opening up these slots to people. Doing a percentage base, that is insanity to the 10th degree. You are quite literally having one person do the exact same thing, and depending on the type of job or income they have, you're gonna be taxing one person who might even be unemployed, not even making money. So what? They don't get taxed at all. They don't have a fine, or maybe their fine is $50, and then you got another guy his fine is
well,
50,
what do we do right now if they don't have a job and they get a fine, Jeff?
Well, you still have to pay. You still have to pay.
So there has to be a minimum. There has to be a minimum for what you have to pay.
That's why I'm saying if you get a speed or a parking ticket downtown and it's $50, everybody pays $50. Everybody is held to the same level of accountability. But what they need to do is start taking points off your license. If they start doing that, then you will start to see people go, okay, maybe the me parking here, not looking for a parking spot or going to the parkade and paying might actually be worth it, because I don't want to lose any more points on my license. And then if I lose points on my license and I lose my license, I'm not driving. That's all you need to do. I think taking a percentage, this is insane. That's crazy. That's the type of talk that people that don't like people with money think. It's like it's this weird, like, oh, fuck them, they got money anyway. Oh, you know what? The fuckers think they can do whatever they want because they got money. That's ridiculous, because you're putting those people in the exact same thing. People that don't have a lot of money, or people that are whether it's low class, middle class, upper class, whatever the case may be. You're putting them all in the same pool. You're acting like those type of people don't go around and think the same way. They
do, but in terms of holding them all to the same standard, they are getting all held to the same standard. But when it comes to monetary fining, it is not being levied the same way, because somebody with so much money, it does not affect them in the same manner. And so fines are always going to be part of the system, because it's something that the cities and stuff can use as income to use in other places. That's always going to be the case. And there's always going to be fines before points taken off of licenses, especially in instances of things like parking tickets, where they don't want to like have everyone that has a parking ticket have to get processed through license points being removed. They're always going to have fines. So everyone's being held to the same standard in society as far as following the rules, but the punishment being levied is not equivalent, because the more money that somebody has, the less of a deterrent the fine is. Full stop.
Yes, that's why I said start taking points away for parking tickets instead of just speeding tickets and other sort of extreme things that you do within your car. Because no matter if you're rich, poor, or middle class, whatever class you're in, if you're speeding down the road, you get the same fine and the same amount of points taken off.
Yeah.
It's not the money. It has everything to do with the ability to drive, the luxury to drive. And depending on how much money you have, the government can't go around. And
here's my argument for what you were just saying there as well, is that you're saying that people doesn't matter how much money they make, they all still speed, they all still do whatever. It's whatever.
Yes.
Right. And that's what the current system, with the idea that you're saying is that if you told people that they're going to lose their license, then that is going to be the ultimate deterrent for them not doing the act in the first place. Well, we already know that people speed and they do things that they know run the risk of them having to lose their license in the current system. They do it anyway.
Yes.
Okay. So, obviously, in that instance, then, there has to be some other paired deterrent to make it seem even more severe. Because a points off a license that's not an immediate loss of license does not affect that person right now, unless they're on their last fucking point on their license. It doesn't affect that person right now. That's a fucking figment of their imagination out there in an imaginary number land. You know what affects them right now, especially if it's a percentage base of their income, is that it affects their bottom line immediately. And if you do it a percentage based on income, then it changes the game as far as that deterrent being equally as important across the spectrum to everyone. Because as a deterrent, for somebody who makes lots of money, a $300, $400 fine means absolutely nothing. But a $300 to $400 fine, which they're being held to the same standard as far as like societally speaking, $300, $400 fine to somebody who's working at McDonald's makes a lot more of a fucking deterrent. Doesn't stop them from doing it, just the same as it doesn't stop them from doing it knowing that they'll lose their license. But what it does do is it combines deterrence in a way that's actually even more potent for everyone across the board as an average, while also doing what ultimately fines are meant to do in the first place. It's a dual system. It's to actually be a deterrent when appropriate, and to put money in the pocket of the city to do shit with that money. That's what fines exist for. It's if it was just about making people obey the law, then they'd do this. You fuck up 3 times, regardless if it's a parking meter, regardless if it's a speeding ticket, regardless of what the fuck it is, then you lose your license, you're done. You don't get to drive for 6 months, come back and try again. You fucking lose your license 3 times in your lifetime, guess what? You don't drive ever again. And depending on the severity of what you do, you might just lose your license, period, which is already what exists. There would be no money involved, ever. It would never have money touch it. It would only be about enforcing the rule of law so that people can watch and go through life with everyone obeying the law. But there's money involved for that reason, because it helps. It's like tax dollars. It pays for streets to be paved once every 6 years in Halifax. It pays for fucking shit to be done all over the city, in any city in the world. So if you're gonna have both,
I don't agree with you at all.
That's fine.
And I'm not gonna sit here and argue with you about it. But a percentage based thing is fucking stupid, and it's never gonna happen. And there's a reason why it'll never happen, because it's absolutely insanely ludicrous.
Well, I know you'll disagree with this too, but the reason why it would never happen is because anyone that has any amount of political influence is not somebody with $0 in their pocket.
It doesn't fucking happen anywhere. Take a fucking percentage. What are we gonna do? Take 0.02%? It was 0.5%.
If that ends up being more than $180 in fines, then yeah, it makes more sense.
You're in fucking fairy tale land, bro. You speed enough, you're gonna lose your license. Period. You know, I don't know what kind of reality and shit we want to live in, where everybody is in this extreme fucking shit. Where it's like, hey, motherfucker, you want to go ahead and speed down the road? You want to run a red light? Guess what, bro? It's half of your yearly income. Bet you're gonna think twice.
You know why? Because if you run a light, you know what you're risking big time? Killing a motherfucker that's not you.
Yep.
So you lose half your income?
Yep.
Congratulations. You know what? You know what's worth more than that person's? You know what's worth more? You know what's worth more than that person's income?
Here we go.
Someone's life.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
It is. Do you disagree with that?
I don't disagree with it, but it's such an extreme.
Running a red light isn't extreme, nor is it an uncommon occurrence.
Anyway, next question. I'm not going to argue with you about this.
Where do you like to sit in a movie theater, Jeff?
In the middle. Center.
But like up and down the up and down, like how close to the
I'm in the dead center.
Oh, like center. Center.
If the theater is packed, then I prefer to be a little bit lower than center. I don't like going to the very top.
I'm 3 or 4 rows down from the top, regardless of the screen. And then in the middle, obviously. I know some people that like to be like middle on the like very edge, like the one seat that they have, or the 2 seats up against the fucking railing going down or whatever in some of the theaters and shit. I guess it's because they have to use the washroom a lot or something, but like I've had to do that once, and looking sideways at a fucking theater screen is one of the worst experiences. It's the antithesis of the theater experience, really, and not something that I like to do to myself. All I can think of is the one time we went to the fucking theater with your dad who wanted to take your sister to Monsters, Inc., and we had nothing better to do, so we went to Monsters, Inc., and it was so fucking packed. And we sat in the very front row. And even as a child, I left there with a neck that felt like a 90-year-old man by the time we were at that fucking theater. And I'm not sure I actually saw half of that movie. I'm pretty sure.
I saw 007 Skyfall in the front row of IMAX.
What? IMAX front row?
So I basically saw a section of the screen. So if I wanted to watch a scene, I'm literally doing this constantly.
Did you get any of that movie like whatsoever? Like, did any? That's fucking close.
But it was not enjoyable.
Oh my god, fuck.
Yeah, it was not enjoyable.
And you didn't go deaf?
No, I mean, you know me.
That's true.
I do shit super loud, so.
I mean, the IMAX speakers that close. Fuck. Oh my god. No, thank you. That's one thing that there was one time I went into an IMAX and I didn't sit in the very front, but we had to sit in that bottom section, but we were in the very like top part of that bottom section, and that was just fucking awful. Just a brutal experience from top to bottom. Mostly because the audio was so fucking loud from that close to the screen. Where's my spot? I have to add. I don't even know if I have an answer to this question, but it's so fucking random that I can't not ask it. Bounce asks, "You've been given an elephant. You can't give it away or sell it. What do you do with your new elephant?"
How am I giving an like? Okay, so I can't.
Well, this is a dumb hypothetical in the first place. You know what I do, Jeff? I put it in a room in my house as best I can, specifically, so that every time I have company over, I can say, "Look, we just got to talk about the elephant in the room."
The whitest joke you might have said in many of years.
That's
man. What do I do? I mean, I guess I start a little business and I have kids and stuff be able to ride the elephant. It's like elephant rides for,
there you go.
you know, $20 will take you around the neighborhood.
It's a hell of a release waiver that you'd have to have them sign for that, though.
Hey, whatever happens, happens. If he dies,
If he dies, he dies.
is what it is. You know, you could even do elephant showers. They can suck up a bunch of water, and then they can,
It's true.
you know, give you a little wash.
You could tell people that it's therapeutic because it's coming from an elephant.
Exactly.
You could sell avocado toast on one side and elephant showers on the other. And then like goat yoga at the end. You make millions. It's from your favorite, Jeff. You know who it's coming from. Pulsating, ripe, developing titties. Has a question.
My favorite type.
That name is ridiculous. It's a woman in the fucking picture, too. I have no idea who it is in the picture, but it's too small. Adam, what is the whitest thing about Jeff? And Jeff, what is the blackest thing about Adam? Okay.
The blackest thing about Adam?
Not my penis. I can tell you that much.
I mean, the easy thing would be to say your voice, but you don't sound black.
I don't sound black.
You don't sound the stereotypical black.
No.
I know that everybody's going to say the voice, but I hear Adam's voice. I don't think
nobody
he's black. You know, I don't say that, so I'm not going to say that. God damn, man, Adam is a fucking white.
I am super white,
motherfucker.
Like super white, crazy white. It doesn't get much whiter.
I would say the fact that he plays basketball or that he played a lot of basketball is probably the blackest trait of Adam.
That's probably it.
Because black people, it's a black sport primarily.
Have you caught up on all of the episodes of The Last Dance?
Of course. Fire. Dude, I fucking love that shit. I hope they do one for Mike Tyson. I hope they do one for like all the greats. But anyway, I would say Adam's basketball stuff, because if you guys know, I mean, you guys know Adam, but if you grew up with Adam and you know his parents and you know, like, Adam is straight white.
I am bleached white flour turned into white bread.
You know what? Actually, you know what the blackest thing about Adam is? Me. That's pretty much the blackest thing about Adam.
Probably.
Is that he rolls with me, and we're boys. That's
it's not wrong.
Thing. And you know, I'm not particularly the most black, and I say that in your stereotypical.
What's the whitest thing about Jeff? Fuck. You know, we had a nickname for Jeff growing up. It's Kanye East. Because Jeff's level of blackness is kind of similar to Kanye West's level of blackness. It's a very similar level of blackness. Jeff has a lot more brain cells still functioning than Kanye West does. However, very similar level of blackness. I would say the whitest thing about Jeff is the not insignificant amount of time in which he wore Ed Hardy exclusively. By far. That is not even I wore Ed Hardy, and I'm the whitest person on earth.
I still have a bunch of rhinestone Ed Hardy stuff around. So before you knew Maximus Black, there was Maximus Hardy. All right. And I'll tell you, I remember working at Old Navy and Empire Theaters, making minimum wage, and back then minimum wage was like $6 an hour.
Wasn't great.
My paychecks would be like $300 on a good week. I would take that $300, go down to Duggar's, and buy a T-shirt for $300. Broke. I had some expensive clothes. Broker than a motherfucker. And I'd go downtown with my boys. Thought that was cool. Working out a little bit. Had my little Ed Hardy on there.
Every time Jeff got a paycheck and went to Duggar's and bought a shirt, he immediately said, "I will never be able to financially recover from this." I would say it's definitely Ed Hardy and your unabashed love for both the Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, and Celine Dion.
There you go. Hey, man, I'm pretty white. Hey, my mom's white, all right? I'm half white. I grew up around a lot of white, although my mom is blacker than I am, without a doubt.
I didn't want to say it, but I'm glad you did. Your mom is definitely blacker than you are.
Pretty fucking black. I mean, she's white, but she's got black tendencies. Like, I have white family and black family, and my mom. So when my dad and my mom got together, my mom had to move out of her place and move in with dad and his parents. So my mom, at a young age, we're like 17, 18 years old. She grew up with black family. So, she lived in a trailer park for when she was a kid in the teenage years. And then in her late teens, when she got pregnant with me, her mom kicked her out. And then she stayed with my dad and his family. My dad's family was black. Like, they're black.
They're Baptist. They're Southern Baptist black.
They're black. Like, so, if you were to see me,
Vanta black,
when I'm with my black family, I'm the whitest black guy there, without a doubt. They are straight up. They drop N-bombs. They're black. They're full black. The Baptists. They're black. I mean, they got that attitude, right? It's amazing. It's fun to be around.
The old ladies have hats that are the size of small cars.
Yeah,
the grandfather's wearing like bright neon orange zoot suits.
Yeah, that's them. And so my mom grew up essentially in that environment. So my mom, you know, she's black. My mom is straight up black. You know, she'll fight a motherfucker, you know, smokes weed, fucking she talks with like slang sometimes. She can be ghetto at times, but she's my mama. So so yeah, she's definitely blacker than I am. I don't even know. It's just the kids and stuff that I grew up with. Yeah, I grew up in a pretty like white.
Oh, this street is white as fuck.
Yeah. So like even before, well, yeah, I guess like before I moved where you were, the area I lived in was still fairly white. Like I didn't live in the hood, but it was the white hood.
Yeah.
So, you know, I only lived in the hood when I was really young. So, and my only, you know, black friend was Teo, really. Everybody else is white, right? So I was pretty whitewashed. I know a lot of this is sounding really stereotypical because of the question, but it's my surroundings. So I just grew up kind of around white folks and their parents and their, you know, and grew up in that. So I never really got that.
And even Teo wasn't like,
he was pretty white too.
He's pretty white too. Yeah.
Yeah. And he was black.
Yeah. I was going to say he like tendencies. He was like fairly white, but he was darker than a motherfucker.
Yeah. He's the type of black that, you know, you only see him when you smile at night. You know,
which I was going to say that actually happened. We used to play Trackdown at night, and a viable method for finding Teo was to try and make him laugh while he was in the woods. And you could see, because he had his teeth were perfect.
Super white teeth.
And super white. And so you get him smiling, and the moon would hit his teeth. And you'd see him in the woods. That's it. That's the Technical Alpha Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Oh, we're not making that that's actually legit. You make him laugh, you see him smile.
That's it.
You got him. And then one day he tried to run. Oh no, that wasn't him. That was Raymond.
Mm-hmm.
Running back at the back of the friggin' houses, tripped over a rock and just fucked himself
dry.
Put a hole in his head. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's the Tech the Alpha Podcast. We will see you guys next week. Stay safe out there. For God's sake, keep washing your hands. If your local government says you can go back out and hang out in parks, don't. Because they're starting to say that shit. Believe me, don't. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much for stopping on by. Patreon.com/technicalalpha is the place to be if you want to financially support this habit. Until we see you guys next week. Peace!